What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Justin, that's Sal, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. This is the first episode of hopefully many. I really hope so. Pretty much what this is a conversational podcast about whatever we really feel like talking about. And you're probably asking yourself, why the fuck do I care what you have to say about anything? So you really shouldn't have to care about anything that we have to say, but hopefully you do. So I guess we'll just introduce ourselves for a little bit. So Sal, I don't know if you want to go first.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. My name's Sal. I'm a firefighter, and I make YouTube videos on another channel also. I think it's fun to do, and I like to follow my passions. So this is one of my passions, and what happened was me and him were talking, and we decided to make this channel because we love talking, pretty much.
Yeah.
So about random subjects, about anything, and I find myself watching these types of videos all the time. So I figured, why not make our own videos, you know, and entertain other people, because it's what we love to do. So yeah, exactly. That's pretty much the main thing about me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the exact same way. I've always wanted to do this my whole life. It's like, we are like, I'm 21, you're 23, right? Mm-hmm. So like, we kind of grew up in the generation of how YouTube actually became a thing, and like people started making real money off of it. Obviously people like PewDiePie and whatever, clearly the apex of everything. But like, it's always been a dream of mine to be able to do this as a career, and just to be able to talk to people who care about me and I care about them, and we do this every day anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's not like this is going to be different.
This is a normal thing. Pretty much the only difference is that the camera's on.
Yeah, there's just a camera. So. That's really the only thing, and I'm really obsessed with whatever the fuck this thing is. Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's like our little introduction. So pretty much what we want to do with this podcast is, like I said, conversational podcast, pretty much like upload like once or twice a week for now. And the first video we wanted to do, like, we'll do like a topic about whatever we feel like talking about, and then the next time that week that we'll upload, we'll do like something that the audience wants. So like, you guys could leave a comment or whatever saying, oh, well, I want you to talk about this. Mm-hmm. And obviously at first that might be a little hard because people are gonna have to watch the videos and find us, but eventually that'll make it easier, and then hopefully we could start doing more stuff.
Yeah, this channel is going to be big on engaging with everyone on the channel.
Because it's not just about us, we want it to be about you guys too, and have a community about everyone, and just, we're going to try and just be real people with you, and not just be fake, like, oh, this is what happened to me today, and like, it's just never happened.
Right,
like,
pretty much we're going to probably forget that the camera's on.
Yeah, hopefully.
Just because.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Alright, anyway, so I guess intro's done, so I guess we could talk about this. The first topic of Talk of the Town is about anxiety, and both of us suffer from super, like, I guess I could say crippling anxiety, like, just different kinds, but they're both very similar, and like, so, and I know a lot of people out there do, and they don't have an outlet for talking about it or listening to people talk about it, so that's, I guess, what we just want to talk about now.
Yeah.
So I know I suffer from anxiety. Like, I was on medication for 2.5 years. I actually just stopped taking it a week ago because I feel like that I can like handle it myself.
Like mentally. Like,
yeah, just mentally be okay without having to rely on something else to do it for me. Mm-hmm. But I used to get anxiety attacks super bad with my old job, and like, I would just have to lay down and just listen to music, and just nothing would calm me down. I actually thought I had a heart problem before I knew exactly what it was, because I was like 18 years old, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, what the hell is going on with me? But lately it's been better, and I know like you were pretty much like the same thing.
Yeah. Me, I never been on medication, and actually this past week was my first week without anxiety, and I can't even remember how long. And the problem with anxiety is, like, nobody knows how bad it is because it's like internal. So, you know, for people who do have it and see this video, it's like very strong, I feel like, because that's what I like. When I used to hear other people talk about it, it made me feel better.
Because you're like, oh,
because I know what they mean, right? Like, it sucks. It's I think it's one of the worst things in the world, and you know, I would just get it out of nowhere, and like, for me, it would be like a build-up, like one thing on top of another, and then that on top of something else makes it worse and worse, and it causes like physical problems. It causes like, and you know, it's just like a chain reaction. So yeah,
that's exactly what it was. Like, for me too, it's okay. That's a dog. They have a dog downstairs? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like you said, it's like one thing on top of another. So no, I feel like I'm at a weird angle right now because I'm like looking that way.
I know.
But whatever. Ow, we'll figure it out. So like one thing on top of the other. So like it would start like oh, my hand started shaking. That's weird. I don't know why. Maybe I just have a lot of energy. And then it's like my heart would start going, and it's like okay, well, this is weird. And then all of a sudden, like I think about it, it's like okay, my heart's beating kind of fast right now, and I don't know why it's beating fast. I'm not nervous about anything. I'm even relaxed, like I'm fine. But for some reason, my heart's racing, and it's like oh shit, my arm started tingling. It's like why is my arm tingling? Am I having a heart attack? Oh shit, I'm having a heart attack. And then I'm freaking out, and then eventually that all builds up over literally nothing, over me, maybe my body having a little bit of energy. And my brain is like, you're dying, that's it. You're gonna die now. And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna die now. And that's what anxiety is. It's like your brain literally telling you, this is what's happening. You're gonna do this because I'm telling you to do it.
Right.
Without you realizing that you actually have control. But if you don't have control, your mind can take everything and just fuck it up completely.
Yeah, your mind is like the strongest thing in ever. It can do anything it wants if you let it. If you aren't conscious of like what it's doing, it could take you over completely.
100%.
Like you can't function, and like you think that's your identity pretty much. Like that's who you are.
Because that is who you are.
Because you become that just from you letting your mind take over your body, like almost like a host. Like, it's like you're the host, and your mind's like, all right, you're gonna do this, and
exactly. And when you don't know, even when you know it's anxiety, but you don't fully realize like I'm letting my mind take over my body, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Until you, like I always say, like there are certain things, like a lot of things in life when you're learning it, it's like a gradual step, you know what I mean? But there are certain things where there are no gradual steps. It's your one thing, and then you smash through a brick wall, and then it's another thing.
Right.
And that's like that's like, if you're doing like rhythms, like on drums or something like that, or like on any musical instrument, a lot of times it's not gradually learning. A lot of times something will click in your head and you're like, oh, I get it, and then I can do it. Same thing with anxiety. It's like there's no gradual step like, okay, today I'll be a little better, and then the next day I'll be a little better. For me, and I think for you too, it was I'm fucking horrible, and then I'm 100% fine.
Right.
And there's no gradual at all.
No, there is no gradual, because you need, like you said, like you need it to click.
Yeah.
And whatever that is could be something completely different. It could be one person saying something, it could be for somebody watching a video, it could be us talking, makes you realize that.
Or anybody else talking.
For me, it was a book I've read, and the book's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Where the fuck the book go? Oh, there
and it's right here. So I can get it. This book. I definitely recommend this book.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it too.
But I'm not saying it's gonna work for you, but it can, because it did for me. So
the way I battled it, aside from okay, so I feel like we're kind of jumping a little bit. So I guess let's start like the first time that we ever felt it.
Okay.
So
yeah, I remember that.
I said before, the first time I ever felt, well, actually, the first time ever. Fucking weird ass story, and it was probably set on by the fact that I was an idiot, but I did. Okay, so we were going to watch the Avengers, the first one, when it came out in the movies. I don't know if you were with us. I don't think so. I don't remember exactly who was with us.
I don't think I was there.
It was a couple of our friends. We've been friends for a very long time, so just backstory. But so I'm going to watch the Avengers, and I'm exhausted, and I'm like, I'm gonna drink a Monster for no reason. It was like fucking midnight, and I'm like, I'm gonna drink a Monster because that's what dumbass teenagers do at midnight. So I drank it. I like chugged it. Going to the movies about, I'm gonna say like 45 minutes into the movie, I'm like I said before, like the energy thing, like my heart just starts racing, and I'm like, that's weird. And like my feet, I was always a very nervous person, but I was never it never physically had anything to do. It was just emotionally I was always very nervous. But then my legs started shaking, and my hands started shaking, and then my mind was like, why is this happening? And then, like I said before, like I was describing the first time it ever happened. So my arm started tingling, and I was like, I remember hearing something that when you're having a heart attack, your arm starts to tingle, and you lose feeling in like your fingertips and whatever. And that was happening. And it wasn't happening because of what was going on in my body. It was happening because it was going on in my head. And I started freaking out, and I'm like, I remember my friend Tom, our friend Tom, was next to me, and he's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I don't know, I gotta go to the bathroom." So I got up, and like I walked outside, and I called my mom, because I had no idea what was happening. So I called her, I was like, "Mom, I'm dying." And she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm dying." She's like, "Justin, if you were dying, you wouldn't be talking to me." I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm in the middle of having a heart attack. She's like, "No, you're not. Like, just calm down. Like, you wouldn't be able to call me if you were having a heart attack right now." I'm like, nope, having a heart attack. And like, I was pacing around the movie theater parking lot, like screaming, like crying, like I was freaking the fuck out because I was ready to die. And eventually she calmed me down and it stopped. And I went back in, finished it, went home, and just like slept for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
Just, I was fucking passed out. That's before like I had like a job that I worked a lot of hours with. I was only working like 10 to 15 hours a week, so like I was like off the entire like next like 3 days or something. I just slept for like 15, 16 hours. I woke up like the next like day at like 5 o'clock and at night, and I was just like, I don't know what happened to me. And then eventually it happened again and again and again. And one day I was on the way home from work, and it happened in the car. And I was freaking out so much that I wasn't focusing on what I was doing. And it was really dangerous. And like, I'm actually glad that I was alive, because I left work, and I worked like 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from my house. And I left work, and I was and I don't remember getting to the highway at all. I just remember freaking out. I don't know how I got there. I don't know how I was driving, but I looked at my speedometer and I was driving like 95 on the highway. Had no idea. Just because I was so inside my head that my foot was just on the pedal and nothing happened. And I came to and was like, holy shit, man. Like, so I slowed down, got off my exit, went home, walked in my house, was like, I'm going to bed. I just went into bed and was still freaking the fuck out. And the only thing that would calm me down a lot was listening to music, specifically Green Day, which is like my favorite band of all time. But my mom came and she like rubbed my back, and then I was like, I need to go to the heart doctor. And I went to the heart doctor, they were like, your heart's fine. And then I went to my real doctor, and he was like, maybe you should take medicine, and then he prescribed me that, and then that was like 2 years ago. So, long story short, that's what happened. So, what happened with you the first time you ever had it?
My first time, it's not nearly as long as the story as yours, but I do remember
I'm sorry, that was a really long story.
No, but it's because you remember it because it was a significant
It's so
thing.
traumatizing that like...
But for me, I don't think mine was as severe, but it was brand new to me. And what's funny is, I had it when I was very young, my first anxiety attack, and then I haven't had it for a while after that, which is very weird to me. But I think I was around 12 or 13 years old, and I was watching wrestling with my father. And we're watching wrestling, and I wasn't thinking about anything. I'm 12, 13 years old. Like, what can I possibly think about except wrestling? Which is weird. And I'm watching it, and I remember The Rock was fighting, and out of nowhere, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, I couldn't like catch a deep breath. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, and I started sweating, and like, I told my dad, I'm like, I can't breathe. He didn't know what's going on, so he's like, oh, all right. And he's like, just come outside for a second and just like, get some fresh air. So I'm standing out there. I remember looking in the street, and it was late at night. I'm looking in the street. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I was like, I'm gonna die. I was like, I know it. Like, I just can't breathe.
And at that moment in time, you accept it too.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna die, and I started thinking about like, I'm only 12, 18, like, I'm like so young, and like that was the first anxiety attack I ever had. And I don't remember, how long it took to go away because I was so young, but that was the first. I believe that was the first anxiety attack.
Now, what about the most recent, like most recent, like bring back of your anxiety, like like what happened, like. Because you were 12, so now you're 23, and you said you hadn't had it for a while. So, like, what happened when it came back? Like, after that one anxiety attack you had, the next one you had, so whatever it be, like
that was pretty recent,
10 years
the worst
later
one I've had, which was, like, this year. And, I live with my girlfriend, so I was sitting one day on the couch doing nothing, and I broke down. I started crying, and I started just... I went into very almost like deep depression attack where I was like, why am I here? There's no purpose for me here. like just everything was so horrible to me. Like it was literally like I was living in a nightmare, and I wanted to like wake up. I'm like, can I just wake up from this nightmare? And I ended up talking with her and discussing it, and eventually I ended up going to a doctor and seeing somebody recently after that, because that was the worst experience of my life. And I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
And just by talking to people and you know, reading that book and actually taking like the step forward to take initiative and fixing it instead of just living with it made a big difference. Because after that night, I will never go back to that again. Just because I feel like that was like a thing where it was like, you know, do you really want that to happen again? To myself.
Yeah.
Saying like, I need to fix this. And like people are saying like, you know, you should go talk to somebody, you know, it's not like a bad thing, you can fix it. And I didn't believe so, but I ended up taking that extra step and taking these little milestones to fix what I had, and ended up working significantly. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like you said, you had that book that helped you, and that's awesome. And you told, it's weird because, so like you said, he's a firefighter. I work in a restaurant, so that's his job for now. And like this is like something stupid until I get whatever real job I end up getting, whatever the fuck consists of a real job. But so this week, one of my coworkers like got really sick and he had his appendix taken out. So I actually worked like a 46-hour work week, and he obviously works those all the time. So we hadn't seen each other in a week, and we just recently started talking about it because I always knew he had anxiety and he always knew I did, but I didn't know how bad his was because he didn't really talk about it much with everybody else, because I guess you were just kind of like in your own head about it, you know what I mean? And I've had it for so long, for the 2.5 years that I was on medication, that I was very open about it because I didn't know what else to be, because I didn't think that anybody else went through what I was going through until you did. So we got together last night and we were smoking cigars, and he was like, yeah, so you were like, I just had this like revelation almost in my head. And it's like, and I was like, that's weird because I had the exact same thing this week. And I didn't read anything. I stopped taking my medicine about a week ago, like 6 days ago, I think. It was last Wednesday. My doctor was like, you're good, you don't have to take it anymore. So I guess I'm getting side effects from it. Like, I hate saying depression because I know that there are people clinically depressed, and I don't want to make it like I'm as like my shit is as valid as theirs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not depressed. I think I just get very sad sometimes. But I was having a super bad day, and like I've never had social anxiety before. It was always just anxiety of me being inside my own head and not being able to do anything else. But my family was downstairs in my house for like a couple like minutes, whatever, and my mom was like, go say hi to them, I haven't seen them in a while. And I was laying on my couch watching the Rangers, and they got absolutely fucked up, so I was in a really bad mood already. And I was like, my body's not letting me get up off my couch right now. And I'm like, this hasn't happened in a while. I haven't had an anxiety attack in like about 1.5 years. And I was like, I'm not having an attack right now, but I know there's something fucked up right now. And I got up, and I was trying to go downstairs, and my feet just took me to my shower. And it was just like, my body's like, you're not doing this right now. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing this right now. So I get in my shower, and we were talking about this last night, about how when you don't have anxiety, you realize that there's so much more like a broader thing in life than what's inside your own head.
When you like have anxiety, it's like you're on autopilot. That's what I feel like.
Your mind just tells you to do that.
Everything that's around you is almost like irrelevant, and you're just like focused on the bad things. Like it's just like, okay, I gotta go to work, and you're just like a zombie going to work. And then when you get to work, you can't wait to leave work. And then when you leave work, you're worried about going back.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, it's
and
crazy.
You never think about what's in between those things.
Right.
It's always just on to the next thing, always, and never living in the present.
Right. That's what like I'm like huge on now, is like living in the present, like being like conscious of what's around you. Because like there was one page in that book that I read, and once I read that page, it was like a switch. It was like, okay, done. Done. No gradual like
breaking through a brick wall.
Done. I looked up and like I looked out the window, and I saw like the tree outside my window, this one right here. And I'm looking at it.
You guys can't see it, but it's a tree.
Yeah, it's a tree.
It's a real tree.
But I look at the tree and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, I was like, I can't even explain. I'm looking at the tree and I actually like took it in. I'm like, I never like, to me that was just there and a glance, like nobody pays attention, like, but once I read that page, it was like everything around me, I like, was more like just into it, what's going on right now. So that was like crazy to me, and now like I'm not worried about what's going to happen in an hour. I'm not worried about what's going to happen in a half hour. I'm just focused on right now.
Doing you what you're doing.
Yeah, because when you do that, it's like you're not enjoying what's going on right now. You can't control what's going to happen, and you can't control what did happen. So why worry about it?
Exactly.
It's serious. Like you can't worry about things you can't control. And that's what anxiety. I think that's what anxiety is. Anxiety is when your mind isn't in the present. Because if it is, unless you're, I don't know, stressed out when you're about to get like shot or something, then like you're not
real
worried about
anxiety
really,
that you need.
Like when you get that, like maybe it'll help you guys. Like when I started, you know, I see my mind going out and like starting to think. I'm like, what am I stressed out about right now? Right now, what am I stressed out about? Nothing. I have my coffee. I'm recording a YouTube video. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And like if people like start like I feel like thinking like that normally, it's like, wow, what am I doing? Why am I stressed out right now?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And
like a lot of times also like I would stress out about things and like get anxiety. Ended up being like so many of those days where it's like, wow, I was so stressed out about this. It's not even that bad.
Yeah.
But like even if it's not that bad and it's good, whatever you were stressed out about, you were still at that time when you were in that now moment, like you were stressed out. So like that's all gone.
Then that's all you remember too. It's like that car ride home, like I said, could be the most enjoyable car ride home I've ever had, but I didn't even know I was driving.
Yeah, exactly. You had no idea you were going.
I was on autopilot. I had no fucking idea. And it's kind of hard to get there because I have a 2000 Honda Accord. It's not easy to get to 95
so
miles
you
an
must
hour.
have been.
I was flooring it
you must have been
for
flooring
probably
it.
like 5 minutes in order to get there. And yeah, it's
crazy.
the truth.
And I've never been more happy in my whole life.
Good. Me too. Like, it's crazy when I got in that shower and, like you said, like you saw the tree and you were like, oh, there's a tree and it's living and that's a thing.
Yeah. It almost sounds like I was talking about last night. It almost sounds like a pothead or like I don't want to say pothead because that's like offensive, but like I'm not really against weed. So somebody who smokes and then they're like, you know, they get into that mood where they're like,
you just start
like,
thinking
wow,
about everything. It's like
that's
you see
what
the stars and it's like, wow.
Yeah, that's what it's
stars.
like. But that's what it's like every day without doing that.
It is, and that's why
you know.
I think like it's not really more of weed. It's more of like almost like ecstasy or something like that.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
Like,
everything's brighter. Everything's brighter.
100%. Because what I did was I got in the shower and I was letting the water hit my face. I'm sorry, the camera cut out on us. But like I was saying, you have like a moment where in the shower I touched the wall of my shower and like kind of grazed it almost and started just fucking bawling, just weeping, crying, and it was very strange. But it was like I've never in 2 years or 3 years, however long, like I've fully had the anxiety. I've never once just put my hand on something and realized like I'm like touching something that some guy made and like some dude put his hard ass work into making this table and it's been crazy and I've never been able to feel anything before.
Right.
But then you snap out of it, like I said, you hit through a brick wall and then all of a sudden you get it and you understand that there's way more to life than being inside your own head.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's crazy.
And it's crazy because once you like realize what's going on, everything falls into place. I had social anxiety, depression, and just general anxiety. So my social anxiety went completely away because what I was doing when I was engaging in conversation was I felt so insecure that like I just wanted to be by myself. But what I was really doing was worrying about being judged by that person, like saying something stupid or like thinking too much about what I'm about to say. And when that goes away and you're just in that moment, it just happens. You talk, you listen more, you're not like so focused on something else and like stuff like that. I think a really good example about that, I was thinking about this the other day, is I think it's a very mild form of social anxiety, and it happens to so many people that when you introduce yourself to somebody, right, and I'm sure so many people can relate to this, and they say their name to you, right, and then you say yours. How many people forget their name within 2 minutes?
Oh, always.
Right? Because you were thinking about making a good first impression.
You're thinking about how am I going to say my name that's going to sound good.
that is a mild form of social anxiety. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, sure it is.
Because you're thinking, right? So like, if I like now when I walk up to somebody, I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm ready to like listen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm what I'm saying, I don't think about. So all I'm thinking about is what you're saying.
Because what you're saying really doesn't matter.
Right. So when you tell me your name, I'm not going to forget it because I'm listening. I'm fully in that. I wasn't in my mind. So that's like I was thinking about that, and I feel like that's like a mild form of like social anxiety. But
also, there's another thing that me and you both used to do, and I still catch myself. I mean, I've only been off my medicine for a week, and I just came to this revelation of not having anxiety anymore, like a couple days ago. And not saying not having it anymore, but like understanding now that when it does happen, and like to understand how to control it. So. And I know there's a lot of people who have way worse anxiety than both of us do that really can't control it, which is fucking horrible. And that was me for a while, but whatever, anyway, that's besides the point. So I noticed that I'm like, so let's say I'm talking to you, right?
Yeah.
And I still do this, but I just did it now. But when you're making a point, like, my head's always at you, but sometimes my eyes will go that way.
Yeah.
And like I'll look down when I'm talking, just so I don't see that your reaction to what I'm saying, because I'm nervous about how you're reacting to what I'm saying. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking you in the eyes. I'm looking at the table, or I'm looking up, or I'm looking past you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, when that happens, you tend to space out a lot. So like, a lot of times, like if I take somebody out to dinner or something, or I just even talking to one of you guys, talking to my friends, and we're having a conversation, it's like I'd have my turn to talk, and then I'd space out until I stopped hearing noises from the other person, and I'd be looking this way.
Yeah.
And then I'd talk again.
Because you were waiting to talk. You weren't listening.
Because I wasn't thinking about what you're saying.
Right.
It's not that I didn't.
You were gonna
exactly. It's not that I didn't care. It's not that I didn't want to hear you, but I was so worried about what I'm going to say next. To make an impression, even with one of you guys, like we have a couple like super good friends, even with one of you guys that we've known for 15 years, however long I've known you, like it still didn't matter. I was still nervous about what I was gonna say.
Right.
Even though you guys accept me for whoever I am, it didn't matter because I still wanted to make an impression, even though there's no more impressions to be made.
Right. And I did the same thing when I had anxiety. I was always worried about what to say, like just so like focused on not fucking up, basically.
Yeah, like you don't want to say something stupid. You don't want to say something that offends someone else.
Yeah.
You don't want to say something that that distracted the fuck out of me. That like what was I saying? Great. Oh, that makes you look stupid.
Right.
You don't want to look stupid. You want to be at your best always. So I don't really care what you have to say as long as what I have to say makes sense, right?
Right. And then that's what makes like engaging with somebody so
boring
and
because selfish.
They're like, okay, he had no idea what I just said.
Yeah, and you could tell when people aren't listening to you.
Yeah, of course.
It's very obvious.
My girlfriend used to tell me all the time. She's like, you weren't listening to what I said, and then I'm like, I really wasn't.
Yeah.
Because when she's like someone that's that close to you will call you out on it, you know. So she would call me out on it. I'm like, wow, I really wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Like now, I kind of just focus on what she's saying. Just same thing.
Yeah. So
like that.
I think I'm sorry if the lighting keeps changing.
Yeah, the sun keeps going.
It's just like, yep, no. Anyway, I think that was a pretty good length, right, for this first one. All right, so guys, what I want you to do, if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, share this video, especially leave a comment and tell us if you experience anxiety and how you cope with it. Or if you found any of our tips helpful, or if you didn't find the tips helpful and you think that we're fucking flaps and whatever, leave that too, I want to know. Constructive criticism, always welcome and whatever. So
yeah, definitely.
Our links to our Twitters, Instagram, whatever will be in the description of this video. Leave a comment also for what you want us to talk about next. Like I said, eventually like this will be easier to do, but for now like we're gonna do whoever like has the most like likes and upvotes in the comment section. We'll pick that topic for next week
talk
or
about
next,
just like we did.
Yeah.
In this video.
We'll get an upload schedule super soon. We're gonna try and do 1 to 2 times a week for now until we get the time to do more. And so yeah, that was pretty much it. So
yeah, that's it.
So to reintroduce ourselves, I'm Justin. This is Sal. You can follow us on Twitter in the description. And yeah, this was Talk of the Town podcast episode 1, and hopefully
episode 2 will be coming soon.
Yeah, and hopefully the first of many to come. So
yeah.
guys, thank you for watching, and
thanks guys.
See you guys later.
All right.